I just started smiling like I was on camera.
Georgia
recording.
Yes. Okay. So good morning. Thank you so much for joining us. Today we're going to talk about the second part of our lead gen series, which is content marketing and how that can help you with your business. So I am Angel Piantek. If you don't know who I am, I'm the creative director at Coldbanker Elite here. And my background is actually in broadcast. I have a degree in communications. I also worked for an advertising firm right after college, but my family's here. So after we had kids, we thought Virginia was the best place to raise a family. So that's why we're here. Just wanted to give you a little bit of background about me and my experience. And joining me here is Poppy.
I'm Poppy. Yes, and I graduated from William & Mary in 2014, and then I worked for a social media agency doing basically content marketing and influence marketing for small businesses. And then I started working here. So I have a social media marketing background as well.
Awesome. So let us jump right in. So the basics, you've probably heard this before. Part of your job as a real estate agent is being a marketer. You wear a lot of hats. So you are your own CEO, CFO, your CMO. So part of that is being a marketer, and that's what we're going to help you today, is to kind of create a plan, a strategy of your online presence. So let's define what content marketing is. So it's basically the creation and sharing of online materials that does not explicitly promote a brand, but it's intended to stimulate interest in our services. So that's really honestly anything that you do online. You want to make it engaging. What message do you want to deliver to your client, and what is that desired outcome? So you have to not just throw things online and then pray it works. You kind of have to have a strategy of what you think will engage people that are following you. Mm-hmm. So you should have a tribe. Your content needs a community that will listen, that will support you, and your target should not be everyone. Even if you are able to help everybody, if you try to put a message out that you think everybody will want, it's going to be too fractured. You're going to want to focus on a specific target. Different groups, different demographics, experience levels, they need different kinds of information. So you need to pick and choose what you're going to target.
So content marketing is in the inbound marketing schema, and inbound marketing as opposed to outbound marketing is very focused on the individual. And so you're putting out information and you're trying to reach as many people as possible, obviously, but you're trying to reach as many as possible of a very specific type of person. So we know and we can find out a lot of data on who exactly we want to target and who we want our audience to be. And that way you can frame what you're putting out to appeal specifically to that person. And content marketing in particular is less of a spray and pray situation. You want it to be very, very targeted in terms of what will appeal specifically to that demographic.
Yep. Yeah. So there's a great book by Seth Godin. It's called Tribes We Need You to Lead Us. It was written, I believe, in 2008, but the concept is still good. That you need that tribe. This is a great quote from the book. Do what you believe in. Paint a picture of the future. Go there. People will follow. So this whole storytelling kind of idea that we've been pushing, that's really what's going to engage the consumer. So that's what we need to focus on. There we go. Okay. We got this. So everything points back to your website. That is your home on the web. So I don't know that I shouldn't really have to say this, but you need a website. You need something to send the consumer to. It's a business. What legitimate business does not have a website? You can't be a legitimate business and just have a Facebook page, right? So you need a website. You need something where you're going to put all the resources that you're sharing, all the content. That's going to be your home on the internet. So we have a great tool that we can help you with to set up. Playster is $60 a year. It pretty much has everything you need for a website. It has modern designs to choose from, lead capture, IDX, which means, all the properties will be on your website. It has a blogging component. You can share to your social media accounts from there, and it's mobile responsive, and that's really important. The majority of us are actually on our mobile devices whenever we're online, so you want to make sure that it looks great on all the different platforms.
Yeah, and it's for the money. It looks beautiful. There's almost no easier site that you can create on your own and have it be customized to you. So yeah, definitely look into it if you're just starting out or haven't made a website yet.
Yep, it's not on the schedule yet, but Colby is going to set up another Playster class. So the last time he did it, and I'm not sure what the platform will be or how it will be this year, but it's usually a 2-day. So he'll do the basics of setting up your Playster site, and then you gather information, and then the second day you meet to actually put in some content, put in some information.
Yeah, it's very hands-on, like a workshop basically, where you can actually get into it and work on your own website with Colby's help right there. So very helpful.
Yep. Yeah. So watch out for that on the education schedule. So long tail. I don't know if you guys have heard of this term. It's not that difficult to understand, but anyway. But to get the most out of your organic searches, you're going to want to focus on niche markets within the broader keywords. So, for example, if you're selling surfboards in your store, and you only use the term surfboard when you're doing blog posts or anything like that, you're never going to be found. It's there's too many people competing for that keyword, right? So you're not going to be able to compete with the large corporations that are manufacturing these things. So you're going to want to pare it down to specifically what exactly you're selling. So your conversion probability is going to be easier the more you nail down that specific product. So if you actually, why am I pointing at the screen? So if you actually do a blog post and you put in that keyword, McCoy surfboard laser Zap 5.8XF, at that point, by the time the consumer decides that's what they want, they're ready to buy. So that's where you need to capture them. So for example, if you are a travel agent and you want to put out content about traveling and how to make it easier. but you want to talk about women's bags. You're not going to just say women's bags. You're going to say women's bags for travel and maybe even put an actual brand name there. Because by that time, if I'm looking for a specific item, I'm actually going to probably look at the brand names that I like. So that's how you're going to capture that. So if you're looking for homes in Fredericksburg, I would even target a specific group, whether it's adult communities in Fredericksburg or homes in Fredericksburg, Virginia for boaters, homes in Fredericksburg that are near commuter lots, stuff like that, just to really narrow down that target market. So you want to optimize for the most motivated people. By the time they get there, they know exactly what they want.
Yeah, you're capturing people further down the funnel, and that's less work for you.
Yep.
Alrighty, so not everything is successful, obviously. I think a lot of people are kind of paralyzed by the amount of options that there are in terms of content marketing. Technically, yes, we could all be producing lots of content per day and putting it out all the time, but we do have other things to do. And I think it's sort of intimidating to try to work really hard and do all these things and then put it out and it doesn't work and it doesn't look like anyone responded to it, or it doesn't look like you didn't get any leads from it. So obviously it didn't work. Not necessarily. In content marketing, the main goal is to be consistent and to put out lots of different types of content that might appeal to different people. And not everything has to get you leads. Not everything has to specifically like result in a bunch of shares or a bunch of calls. Not everything's going to resonate with everyone, just like in regular life. But if you have a consistent amount of content that you're putting out, people can trust that you're going to be putting out quality stuff. Maybe that didn't work for them, but the next article you write is going to be a huge hit, and they're going to trust that, hey, this guy or this lady puts out tons of great content. You know, I didn't care for that gardening thing, but I love this indoor shopping article, and I trust that they're a good resource for me on Fredericksburg topics because they've been putting out stuff this whole time, and they'll feel like you're a better resource if you are being consistent. So even though it doesn't look like if you didn't get a ton of shares on a particular thing, or if you made some type of post and it didn't, get any response, that's not necessarily a bad sign. The main thing is just to be consistent and post normally and regularly, and to make every post a quality post in and of itself. Or not just a post, an infographic or whatever you're putting out, a video.
Yeah, I love this quote, and another one from that book, Tribes. The secret of being wrong isn't to avoid being wrong. The secret is being willing to be wrong. The secret is realizing that wrong isn't fatal. The only thing that makes people and organizations great is their willingness to not be great along the way. The desire to fail on the way to reaching a bigger goal is the untold secret of success. I think a lot of times we get discouraged when we put something out there and it doesn't seem like anybody liked it or engaged with it. But not everything, like Poppy said, is going to be a success. You just have to keep doing it.
It's just like in regular life. I think it's a little more intimidating when it's on the internet and it lasts forever. But if every joke that we told was hilarious, and we'd keep telling jokes all the time. But if one joke wasn't that
I'm
funny,
always funny.
I know, Angel excluded, obviously. But if one joke doesn't land, you don't stop telling jokes for the rest of your life. You just try again in a different way, and maybe a different audience that'll appreciate it or something. So, you got to think of your blog and your content that you put out as you're having a conversation, a very personal conversation with your audience. And if it doesn't work one way, then just try it a different way, or try, tweaking it a little bit, and then maybe it'll land. And you'll figure it out as it goes. The point is just to put something out and then see what happens, and not necessarily just wait until you have a perfect blog post that you can craft and then put out and everyone will love. Like, that's not going to happen.
That will never happen, by the way.
Right.
It's never going to be done. It's never going to be perfect.
Yeah.
So,
and you're not going to have something that everyone loves.
Right.
So just go ahead and put out what you want and then see what happens.
Yep. So on average, we see about 3,104 ads every single day, from billboards to TV to the internet. I mean, we are inundated with it. So how can you stand out? That's what you need to be asking yourself when you're posting. How can you stand out? People will ignore irrelevant messages. Our brains are actually really good at that, at not paying attention to things that we don't think are relevant. So you have to capture people's attention by either great, content or great visuals. Yep.
And I think in particular, now that people are so good at advertising, I don't know if you've noticed, but everybody and their mom is selling something on Facebook. So now that everyone is particularly good at marketing themselves, people really appreciate when you're being genuine, when you're being honest. And I think that's another way to not come off as salesy, not come off as I'm pitching you all the time. If you do post about your own self and your own life, people will appreciate that you're actually sharing and not just constantly throwing ads in their face. So that's another.
Yep, but the bottom line is, don't be just another noise out there.
Yeah.
If they find value in what you're posting, they'll engage.
Yeah. So be creative, obviously, is a general way to put that, but there are tons of different types of ways to promote yourself, and in a not sneaky, but in a subtle way. There's obviously making Facebook posts and making videos and things like that, but it's really about what you're doing personally. So like people will respond better if it comes across as you're actually sharing something about your life. So if you are, I'm just looking at this picture right now. Let's say you're a very professional person and you're very buttoned up and polished during the week, but maybe you're a motorcycle enthusiast on the weekend. I think people would respond really well if you had a post or a blog about, like, this is my motorcycle club that I do on the weekend, and here's my group of people that I hang out with in Fredericksburg. And that's not a normal post, but people would respond better to it because it's so niche and it's so unusual and it's creative. It's not just the regular. If you had like a live stream of a motorcycle rally or something like that, that's going to get a lot more eyes than just putting out like I'm holding an open house or whatever.
Sure. Yeah. Really, honestly, it's just be a real person.
Yeah. And share about what you're actually doing. It doesn't
And
have to be.
it's harder
Yeah.
than it actually is. But yeah, really just, I mean, we always have fun here with the stuff that we do. So it comes across. People know when it's genuine.
Yeah. Genuinely enjoy the things you're doing, guys. Have a great day.
All right, we're done here.
And then post
Just kidding.
about that. And people will respond to that.
Yes. Yep.
Is anyone else having fun? I sure am.
We are. So. Okay. So meaningful content. So these are the things that you need to kind of look at when you're writing a blog post, because otherwise it's a moot point. So is it useful? Is it relevant? Are people willing to share it? Is it content that is exciting and inspirational or motivational?
Yeah. You're reaching out to this one particular person, but you're also trying to figure out what's going to make them feel compelled to share this. So obviously, I feel like I just contradicted myself. Put things out there and see what happens, but also think about it before you put it out. But, think about it a little bit in terms of, is what I'm putting out so interesting and so powerful that someone's going to be compelled to share this on their own personal Facebook page to their own friends? If you think back, like the last 5 Facebook posts that you've made on your own realtor Facebook, have they been interesting or compelling enough that someone would feel comfortable sharing it to their entire sphere? Probably not. But if you came up with, something that was so creative and so relevant and useful to people in this area or people in your specific niche, if you're selling horse properties or something like that, that they would feel comfortable sharing it to their entire sphere, then you've got something good. And keep doing that instead of just promoting, maybe things that would be good for a one-time post, but they're not necessarily shareable. They're not like, they might read it. They're not going to care enough to be an evangelist of your stuff.
Right. And it doesn't have to be just real estate information. So whenever we post about the SPCA, it's real about brand awareness. So when we post about dogs, it doesn't really help us sell houses, but it helps us get our name out there, our brand out there. So those are the kind of things that you need to be thinking about posting. And also lifestyle
Content.
Post about eggs.
You can post about, you see a nice trowel lying there in the dirt, you just go ahead and post that. Just kidding, guys, don't do that. So lifestyle content is probably the most interesting content that you can post. I mean, obviously it's great to post about real estate and the state of the market and things like that, and people do care about that. But what you're really selling, you're selling someone a home, you're selling where they're going to live for at least the next 5 to 10 years. It needs to be about the entire picture. It needs to be about the whole lifestyle. What is Fredericksburg like to live in? And do you want to offer someone, just like you would if you were talking to them in person, the whole picture and what it looks like, all the different aspects of, what it means to live here and what cool things you can do around the area. So, obviously we always say like make a neighborhood guide or make some type of post about things that you like to do around Fredericksburg, but there's tons of ways. You can make infographics, you can make videos, there's tons of different ways. If you don't feel comfortable like writing about it particularly or creating graphics, there's a lot of different ways that you can publish lifestyle content that will feel more natural for you.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So pick and choose what it is that that you're most excited about. So if you really don't like to sit down and write a blog post, take your iPhone and get a videotape yourself doing something, an educational post. It doesn't have to be very long, but it has to be relevant information. If you're at the park, so it's now a great time. Well, not today because it's raining. It's not a great time to do anything today. In fact, I'm going to go back in my PJs.
You could do that pool picture, but just outside.
Yes.
3 pools.
No, so yeah, it's everybody's hiking right now because the weather is beautiful. So think about maybe just getting a couple shots and then sharing it afterwards. You don't have to do it as you're doing the activity, but you can share it afterwards. So, I mean, just share the community that you live in, and that's what people really resonate with.
It also doesn't have to be a particularly long post each time. Like I just saw this grill picture. If you're grilling out and you're having a wonderful time with your family or out in the backyard, if you just post a picture and talk about love living in a community where I can grill out and enjoy my neighbors sitting on the front porch, you're painting a picture for people of what it might look like day to day living in Fredericksburg. And so it doesn't have to be a lengthy blog post about, I really love the community and the HOA or whatever. It can just be a snapshot of this is why it's so cool to live here. And people get it. And that builds up sort of the brand, the image that you're creating of Fredericksburg and your area, whichever area it is.
Yep. So you need to know your audience, obviously, in order to figure out what content will engage them. So there's a few different sources where you can find some data. So CBX, if you've never used CBX, download it on your iPad, Android, Windows, tablet. You have to search for Coldwell Banker CBX to find it. The login for this is the same credentials that you use for CB Exchange. So this is a great example of being able to find that buyer that you can connect with. So for example, this is a home in Stafford County. So and it's showing you the home buyer profile. So basically it's a visual of what the buyer might look like for that property. So the median age of residents there is 35 years old. They're most likely college educated, 43% have kids. The top 3 areas moving in this county is Prince William, Spotsylvania, and Fairfax. And what's great about this is right there on the bottom right, it tells you what the different segments of people are. So professional prides, 28% of the people belong in this category. So that means they maintain their upscale suburban lifestyles. These are goal-oriented couples who work, often commuting far and working long hours. So if I'm reading that and I'm seeing that a lot of the people, obviously a lot of them also move within the same county, so they're not going to put the same county in there because that's just a given. But if I know that most people here commute, and I know that Spotsylvania County is one of the counties that moved to Stafford, I'm going to take a Facebook ad and actually talk about, if you live here, you would commute less, you would spend less hours in your car. Now, I wouldn't necessarily do that for a Prince William or Fairfax ad. I would do a separate one for Northern Virginia saying, hey, if you buy this house, then you can get a larger home, you can get a yard and things like that. So you have to look at each type of person that's going to be seeing that ad and tailoring the message to what they need.
That's an amazing tool to have. It's a really sophisticated analytics basically tool that we all have access to, which is amazing. So the fact that you can narrow it down to that close, that narrow of a description of who you are targeting, that's just really awesome. Quickly, Massaponics and Mandy Maddox, it looks like. Can you guys hear us?
I think they can. Deb said,
can you raise your hand if you can hear us?
All right, cool. All right, I think they're good.
Cool.
I think we had a hiccup in the beginning, but it's all good.
You guys probably just missed the one crucial piece of information. Yeah. And if we didn't cover it, that's when it was.
It's your fault, really. Just kidding. Okay, and when you bring this tool to a listing presentation, you look like a rock star because you look like you know exactly what the neighborhood is like and who the people are that you need to target. At the same time, it's not just for listing marketing. You can use this information to do your own personal promotion. So it's a great tool. You guys really should be playing with this. And also, Coldwell Banker is coming out with a national campaign for CBX. So the consumer is probably going to be asking you about this tool. So
yeah, so it's helpful in terms of if you want to know who exactly to target. for like if you're trying to sell a particular listing, who is most likely going to buy it. But in terms of like how to use this information, people always ask me how should I market on Facebook? Like what kind of ads should I, what are the parameters that I should use for my Facebook ads? This is it. This is how you find out. You can narrow Facebook ads and Facebook marketing down so much that if you have the exact specific areas, Prince William, Spotsylvania, Fairfax, you know exactly what zip codes to advertise in, more than likely, this is where your buyer or your seller is going to come from. So, this is a great way to not waste your money and get the most bang for your buck and only advertise to people that are most likely going to be your potential buyers or, new clients.
Yep. Yeah. So you can, I don't know if you can do the income, right? You can set, you can set the income. And like newspaper ads, there's no way you can do that. There's no way you can know who's actually looking at the ads. That's why I love this paired with Facebook, because it is a measurable tool that you can actually get a report at the end and send it to your seller so you can show, what you've done to market their property. Oh, we're getting there.
Hang on, guys. Oh, we skipped one.
Yay, there it is.
Alrighty, everybody made it.
We're going to have to re-record this.
Okay, so market reports. I make these. I'm going to make the newest one soon, whenever they come out. It's either the 10th or the 11th is when Smart Charts releases their data. But this is an easy way to put out some content and share this graphic on your social or wherever you like to share things. And it's a snapshot of the market, and it's supposed to start a conversation. So, when you share this or when you share any type of market report, you are, let's try and make what you're putting out sort of like the hang on.
You need to lean in a little bit.
Oh, I need to lean in. Okay. I forgot what I was saying. Okay, no, I remember. Yes. So when you're putting out any type of market report or any type of real estate information, you need to make sure that you're contributing something from yourself as well, your own opinions, your own insight on the market. So, people have Zillow. They can ask any realtor to look up MRIS data, which is what this is. They are coming to you, and you should want to be selling yourself as a unique insight on this data. What does this mean for your area? What does this mean to you, particularly in your experience, and what can you extrapolate from it? That's what you should be sharing on your social. That's what's going to get people involved. This graphic in particular is wonderful if you don't have anything else to share, but you want to add on to it in order to spark a conversation and to reach out to that one particular person who's maybe on the fence and they're maybe not thinking about buying a particular, but if you attached, your own thought to this, which would be, hey, look, it's up 4.7% from last year. Home sale prices are up 4.7%, and it's only taking 66 days on average on the market. It's a good time to sell. Maybe that person who wasn't even thinking about selling, if you put that in plain language on your post, it's going to reach out to a lot more people than just sharing info, sharing a newsletter, maybe sharing a little graph or something. You want to demonstrate your value to people.
All right, so Poppy used Canva to create the market report. If you've never used Canva, it is a free tool and it is amazing. You don't need to be a designer to create stunning visuals. So
I'm particularly bad at designing, guys. Like I am not an artistic person. I'm like almost unartistic. If you've ever seen me generally, you know that I look like garbage every day.
Oh my God, no you don't.
But I can make these beautiful things because someone else did it for me. So Canva is great if you are not blessed.
Yeah, so there's templates that you can choose from. There's different text, graphics, infographics even. So there's different sizes. So the popular design types, they're already made for you. So if you're going to do an Instagram post, you just click on the little Instagram post icon, and it's the right size for Instagram, and it's the right size for Facebook and Twitter. And they have a section now for real estate flyers.
Yeah.
So you can create anything you want. They even have trifold brochures. If you're doing any kind of email marketing, they literally have everything here that you don't need to make from scratch.
They've done all the work for you here. And they also have on just their regular website, like a design school type thing, which is just, it sounds more scary than it is, but it's literally just like a couple different tutorials of like, if you wanted to make your own things, what fonts look good together and what, visually how to make things that look good. So if you have a particular photo of a listing that you want to use, how to maximize, like how to make that look the best in your new ad and things like that. So if you feel like learning, you can with their design school, but if you don't, like there are so many templates in there that are just ready to go. They're pre-made. It's amazing.
Yeah, sometimes it's better to create a really simple graphic and putting a link to the property page as opposed to the flyer post that most people normally do. So you want to get their attention. If you look at the top right, there's a use custom dimensions little box there. You don't have to follow the dimensions they've set. You can actually do your own. So if you need a 600 by 528 graphic, you can do that. You can use any dimensions that you need and then still be able to use the templates that they have available.
And it's free, guys. It's free.
Yep. There are some paid things in there. So for example, they have thousands of pictures available for free. But you'll see at the bottom of each little picture if there's a cost of it. Usually it's $1. But the majority of the stuff is free.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So
okay.
Getting a headache yet? Okay, so meaningful call to action. So basically you want to give them enough good information that they'll be willing to exchange their contact information for that. So it's basically an exchange for services to contact.
Hey, Dorothy. The info for the market report is from Smart Charts, which pulls from MRAS. But I make those little graphics and I put them out on Facebook, on the CBE company Facebook. So they're all there in an album if you want to share straight from there, or you can just download them from that album and then share, directly from your own Facebook, or you can just put it in an email too. If you have like a newsletter that you want to send out, you can use that graphic. But they are on the CBE Facebook, and then I also put them on the CBE Smug Mug album. But the data comes from MRS, basically.
Yeah, and I think the May one comes out probably today, maybe?
Yeah, they come out on like the 10th or the 11th of every month, which is, so it's a little misleading because it's for the last month, but I'm titling them as for the current month because that's the most up-to-date data that we have. So it looks, you know what I mean? It's technically last month's data, but that's what we have. So, yeah. All right. Sorry. Yeah. Subscribe to Acquire. I'm sure everyone's seen, websites where it pops up and says, hey, you want to get this handy printable? You gotta, put in your email address and the name of your firstborn and, all this stuff. So, subscribe to Acquire. Like you want to, if you're going to do that, and you should obviously, because that's one of the best ways to capture information of the people that are most interested and the most likely to be good leads. You want to make sure that the content that you're offering is worth it, because how many times have you gone to a website and you're like, I don't know, I want to download this DIY printable of how to make a Christmas wreath, but I'm not going to give this lady my email. You need to make sure that when you're putting your content out there, that it's something that's worth people putting their email in and potentially getting spammed by you. So, which don't do that, but they think that might happen.
Yeah, so the market reports are great for that information that they probably can't get on their own, or even neighborhood reports, things like that. So. All right, so different types of content that you can do. Obviously videos, DIY guides are great and they're really popular right now.
And DIY guides, like I've seen a lot for like remodeling and renovation and things like that, interior decorating, but they can also just be for like how to create like Anthropology does a lot of DIY guides, but for like lifestyle stuff. So they do like how to craft a perfect, thyme cocktail or something like that. And you could do the same thing. Like, here's my step by step on how I make my famous feta spinach burgers, or I don't know, but you know what I mean? Like, you can create something that's organically interesting, but you're providing as a pillar of the community over here. You're providing as a resource, but it's technically not like real estate related or even Fredericksburg related. It's just a lifestyle thing. So DIY guide doesn't have to be just like home improvement. Social media posts, beautiful photos. If you're posting photos, please make sure that they're like are actually visually interesting and not just like random things. I think some people get very desperate in terms of like, I have to post something, and then they just sort of like throw up whatever's there. Make it something that someone want to look at. Blogs are wonderful. And if you have a Placer site or even just like a basic website, blog away. There's, an unlimited amount of things that you can blog about. And those are awesome for sharing and having other people share and introduce them to you. And email campaigns too.
All right, so video. We talk about video a lot, actually, because we are in a society where video is king at this point. I mean, I would rather watch a 2-minute video than read an article for 5.
I would rather watch a moving picture of something than probably do anything else.
Yeah, so a few basic things. You need a video bio, obviously, to put on all of your profile pages, because Coldwell Banker, for example, will put, if a consumer is searching on the website, the people with videos will come up first. So right now, if I search 22407, I want to say the last time I looked, there's only 8 people with videos. So they're always going to be at the top of those searches. So you want to make sure you have your own video. It does not have to be long or highly produced. It can just be on an iPhone. It just needs to be genuine. It needs to show how much you love your community, and don't make it all about yourself. Talk about the area.
And show your personality a little bit too. Yeah. I think people get, they don't want to make a video because they don't think it'll be as polished as they want to present themselves, but that's good. We don't show up every day to every showing looking as perfectly polished as we possibly can. We're real people. And I think people appreciate that, especially relo clients. There's no other way that they're going to figure out who you are aside from seeing you interact on camera. They're really not going to know what kind of vibe you have. So I wouldn't worry about like waiting until you have, amazing camera work and amazing, I need to wait until I lose 20 pounds. I'm not going to make my video yet, that type of thing. It's really more important to show that you're a real person, you're friendly, or whatever type of vibe you want to, put out there in a video than to have like a perfect video.
Yeah, we did actually, Matthew and I did a webinar on just video alone. There's a lot to talk about, and we're not going to go into all the detail, but I'll find that link and I'll post it on our Facebook group, the closed Facebook group, so you guys can watch it if you want. I don't know if you guys saw the email that HG Bros just sent out. I think this is awesome. So they're sharing with us, with the agents, community videos. So they have Fredericksburg, they have Idlewild, Lee's Hill, I think a community and staff, where they've created these videos that you guys can use, you can share, you can embed it on your website. That's just there for you. So if you're doing, for example, a blog post on what a great community Idlewild is, you can post a video, but then you can also have text about all the amenities in Idlewild. So it's the awesome pool, the trails, the playground, the clubhouse. So if anybody is searching for Idlewild in Fredericksburg, you're probably going to show up. I don't know very many people that are doing community posts, unfortunately, even though, that's probably the best way really to be found online.
And I would much rather, if I'm moving to this area, I would much rather read a post that has this video of what it actually looks like in a, bird's eye view of what the community actually looks like than just a wall of text.
Yep.
And it's a beautiful video, and they're not like branded or anything, they just have, it's like generic for everyone to use. So it's awesome.
That's the kind of long tail marketing that you want to do, because by the time somebody gets to that point where they really want to live in Idlewild, they're going to want to consume everything that they can about that community if they don't already live there, especially if they're coming from out of town.
Yeah.
That's the information that you want to have available.
Yeah, for sure. Photography. Ooh.
Post awesome pictures.
Take picture with phone.
Yeah. So, obviously we're all on our mobile devices. If you're looking in an iPad, that is a retina screen, and that your photos need to be high quality photos. If it's pixelated, nobody's going to like that. I mean, it doesn't reflect well on your services. Your prospective client is probably going to do a search for you online. If whatever you have online doesn't reflect who you are and the quality of services that you provide, then they're probably not going to hire you. So everything you put out online, especially when it comes to visuals, needs to be really good.
I mean, and in terms of posts that you, pictures that you create, graphics that you make, flyers that you create, when you go to a listing presentation or when you advertise yourself as a realtor in general, you are saying, I'm good at marketing. And this is the proof of you are good at marketing. If you want people to believe you, you have to show them. Produce good content. And if that means that you need to, work on making your Instagram pictures better so that it looks like you are consistently posting beautiful pictures, that's what that means. If it means that you need to go on Canva and actually create some sample flyers of this is what I can do for your home, that's what that means. You need to put your money where your mouth is at a certain point.
Yep. So this is an example of a new site that Poppy actually found. She has an Instagram account that's awesome. So this is fxbgliving.com.
Mm-hmm.
So it's basically a blog about Fredericksburg. So she's featuring different places and businesses. So you guys check it out. These are the things that are awesome to share, especially if there's an event going on and stuff like that. So she talks about Ladybird downtown here. So I think she's starting in Fredericksburg, but hopefully we'll be branching out to the counties. But this is the kind of local content that is awesome. The pictures are great. The layout is great. The design is clean.
Yeah.
It's really well done. So you guys should check that out.
We thought she was a realtor at first because of how great it looks and how good of a job she's doing at profiling the community. She's making Fredericksburg look awesome.
Like, I really want to live here now.
I know. I want to hang out with her. And this is what you want your clients to see you as. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So if you don't feel like creating any of your own content, you don't go to anything particularly interesting or whatever, you can share her stuff, obviously. But I would use this site as an example of how to do content marketing.
Yep.
She's doing a wonderful job. And the website, it just makes you feel like this is a cool place to live. Mm-hmm. And that's what we're really going for generally.
Yep. Yeah, so I should have actually put the URL on the screen. I know I said it before, but it's fxbgliving.com.
Yeah. And she's on Instagram too.
Yeah.
Yeah, we haven't met her yet, but.
Actually, I did. Matthew and I did the other day.
No, you didn't.
You weren't here.
Oh, I'm so jealous. Did she come in with her dog?
No.
Oh my God. I specifically talked to her on Instagram about bring your dog into the office because I work here. And she was like, I will. And then I wasn't here.
We'll set up another meeting. There you go. All right, talk about Instagram.
Instagram is a cool place to put your pictures. So yeah, Instagram is only pictures, which means that the pictures have to be very good quality. And even if you don't post all that many things, Instagram is a good way to connect with people on like a more personal level. So if you don't post a lot of pictures, you can still be really active and follow a lot of people in the community. You can search by like hashtag FXBG or love FXBG and find people that are posting in Fredericksburg, people that are enthusiastic about Fredericksburg, and interact with them, comment on their pictures, like their stuff.
Yeah, so Instagram and Twitter both actually are really great at being able to connect with businesses, with people that you don't necessarily know but live in Fredericksburg and are using those hashtags. Yeah. Typically, if you're using the FXBG hashtag, you're probably savvy with social media, or you just really love living here. So that's a great way to engage those people and get to know them.
Yeah. And when, specifically content marketing wise, when you post on Instagram, you cannot put, like you can put links obviously in the caption, but they will not show up as clickable links. So if you want to post like a link to a specific blog, you can put that in your bio, in your like top of your profile. But if you post only in the caption a link to a specific blog, it won't show up as a clickable link. So what I would suggest doing is either just put your general website URL in your bio, so then you can just direct people there to whatever your latest blog or your latest post or that type of thing, and try and direct everyone back to your lead capture thing. But
yeah, and it's also, if once you get to know the different businesses, you kind of figure out who the influencers are in town, and if you tag them, they're probably going to reshare or repost whatever you're posting. That's free marketing for you. They're sharing your information with their sphere, with their friends and family. So the more you do it, the more you'll figure out who you should be communicating with.
Yeah. Great example of someone doing this. Ginger Walker is listening, and she just recently interacted a lot with the Stafford County Animal Shelter, and she sponsored all of their adoption fees, which was awesome, but it also got her a ton of publicity, and it got Stafford County Animal Shelter to share her posts, and that went everywhere. Tons and tons more people saw that than if she was only posting that on her own Instagram. So interacting with other businesses, interacting with even like local government. I know Fredericksburg government is on Instagram now, and like the Parks and Rec department and that type of thing. Interacting with as many other people as you can is going to increase the amount of eyes that you could potentially get on, yourself. Sounds horrible, but blogging, do it. It's just, they last forever. Blogs are 24/7 working for you, because you create them once and then you can always link back to them. They're always sitting on the Google search results, getting people to look at them, getting people to come to your website. If you're posting about local stuff, you need to make sure that your SEO and your tags are bringing the right people to look at your website that are looking for things related to Fredericksburg, and not just, don't make all your tags your own name or something, because people are not searching for that. But if you blog about things that are interesting and you blog about things that are local, relevant, timely, you're going to get people that are curious about those things and introduce them to yourself. That's how you can, that's how you really bring in people from off the street, basically. Pinterest. I love Pinterest because it is just one of the absolute easiest ways to be a resource. I have a number of boards. I made a separate Pinterest account. That's my realtor account, so that no one gets to see my embarrassing fitness routines that I'm never going to do. So I made a separate realtor account that has boards that are, I thought about my personas that I'm marketing to, and people that are most likely going to work with me are going to be younger. They're going to be first-time homebuyers. They're maybe going to be new parents. They're going to be we just want to keep it spicy for you guys. They're going to be people that have dogs. They're going to be people looking to do maybe more DIY stuff, millennials, that type of thing. So I thought about that. And then I thought about what would those particular people be interested in. And I made boards specific to those types of people. So I made like a DIY home improvement board. I made a curb appeal board. I made and baby makes 3 cute parent board, even though I don't have any kids. And then I made a adopt don't shop board, things that would appeal to people that don't know me. And it's also somewhat relevant to real estate, but it's more of a resource that they can look at in their free time, and they can just go crazy on. I have a first-time homebuyer board that has tons and tons of infographics about the stages of a home buying process, how to get a mortgage, credit issues, things like that. So I meet with them one time, or I just send them a link before I even meet with them, and I say, hey, we're getting started on this first time home buying process, and I made this board that has tons and tons of information. So in your free time, feel free to go crazy and read all about this stuff. And it looks like I've prepared this amazing resource on first time home buying. And it took me about 20 seconds to put all this stuff on a board, but people love it because it looks like I'm providing them this amazing, just cornucopia of information.
Yeah. So another great way to use those boards is if you have, if you're sending your seller a pre-meeting email, or even after you meet with them, you can send them a link to that curb appeal board or home improvement board and say, hey, here's some ideas that you can do to get your house ready for spring. If it's a first-time home buyer, you can send the link to that board. So it's not just being able to be found on Pinterest itself, but you can share these great boards, and you can share it on your Facebook account. There's a lot of uses for it. It's a great way to kind of organize the different categories of people that you're working with.
You're going to get almost no leads from Pinterest, but you are going to make your current clients and people that are potentially your clients love you, because it's such a great gift to give to them. And even like when you're walking around a house, if this is your first showing, or if you're thinking about a couple different houses and you see something particular in the house, oh, I just saw this amazing tutorial on how to change laminate countertops and make them look like marble. Let me send that to you real quick. I have that on my, curb appeal board, or my, bathroom envy board, or whatever. My titles are great, you guys.
I love them.
Check out
I'm making notes right now.
So it looks like you are focusing so much on them. You're devoting all of your time thinking about, how can I help this one particular person? How can I make their life better? Even though you've had this board sitting there for who knows how long, it took you about 20 seconds to throw together. But it's a great gift to give to someone. It makes you look like you're narrowing in, you're focusing on them. You're giving them such personal attention.
Yep. And if you're blogging, hopefully, if you decide, hey, I'm going to tackle blogging, you can then pin your own blog, and then people will reshare it. So that's another way to get your content out there.
Yeah, I have a board for my only listing. 205 Shaw.
All right. So if you're doing, Poppy thinks that we should pixelate the monkey's bottom.
Yeah, just avert your eyes if you're under the age of 18.
So if you're doing any kind of email marketing, newsletters, MailChimp is a great tool. It's really easy to put together a nice HTML email. You can send out market reports, neighborhood reports. The thing with this is consistency. If you're going to send out newsletters, you need to do it on a regular basis. MailChimp is actually also great to integrate with your social media platforms. So Facebook, for example, if you're doing a Facebook ad, and if you have an email list and MailChimp, a contact list, you can export it. They talk to each other. So you can take that contact list from MailChimp to Facebook and actually only show the ads to that email list, which is an awesome tool if you want your contacts to feel like you're following them everywhere.
Yeah, you can really hammer home the fact that you are.
Okay, that sounds really creepy. Don't be creepy, but really that's.
Just don't tell anyone they're being creepy. Nobody has to know, aside from all of the attendees watching.
Just slide in there. What? Huh? Okay, slide share.
Slide into those DMs. Anyways, SlideShare is basically a way to share
your documents.
So
if you're doing so if you're actually putting together this market report or an RPR report, you can upload it to SlideShare, and then you can share it on your website, anywhere you want to share it on social, but also it's searchable. So the SEO for SlideShare is actually better than all the other ones, as Matthew tells us.
Supposedly this is true. If it doesn't work, blame Matthew.
No, but it's a great tool to share documents, not just different graphics. So you can actually do presentations, infographics and stuff like that. That's just, it stores information there and you can share from there.
If you go on SlideShare and see other types of content, you'll get the idea pretty quickly of what other people are sharing. But it's basically like if you have, it's like if you have a white paper or something that you've written up on, this area or the state of the market or something like that. This is a good way to get your content ranked on the search engines.
Yep. So we just wanted to give you guys a couple of examples of not necessarily real estate sites, but sites that are doing great content marketing. I don't know if you listened to the Snow Day webinar we did. I talked about River Pools and Spas. It was a company that was going bankrupt, and the owner decided that he was not going to be paying for ads because he couldn't afford it. So instead, what he decided was he wanted to educate the consumer about pools. And if you Google fiberglass pools versus whatever
the other type of pool is,
they're probably going to be the first one on the organic search list. So they're really just educating the consumer, and people resonate with that it's genuine. And they're even so they only sell fiberglass pools, I believe, but he'll compare that to a different type of pool, and he'll say fiberglass may not necessarily be the right product for you, but these are the differences. So Wistia.com is actually a video hosting tool. You can use it if you want. It is paid. I believe you can get 3 free, but it's a paid product. But what's great about it is if you go to the website, there's a Learn tab. They actually have awesome tutorials on how to use video, how to create great video. So for you guys, it's you can use it a couple ways. You can see what great content is, how to bring in basically what you're doing and how to educate the consumer, but also it's really educational stuff. So if you're interested at all in doing video, listen or watch some of their tutorials. They're awesome.
Yeah. Wanda Barrett said, what was the last web address? fxbgliving.com. And if you just search FXBG Living, you'll probably find it. And then Ginger, yeah, so you can do a secret board.
Go ahead and read the question.
Yeah. Sorry, I forgot that everyone was not inside my own head. Sorry, she says, if you have a board that people follow you on Pinterest, is it better to turn that into your work one and then create a secret one for your personal stuff, or use the hide feature so no one can see it? So yeah, if you have like a lot of followers on your Pinterest, on your own personal Pinterest, you can I guess you could just make that into your work one and then make all of your own personal boards secret. The only reason I didn't do that was because I just thought it would take a long time to make all my boards secret. So, but if you already have a bunch of followers, then I would take advantage of that and not try and start, from scratch. Go ahead and do that, and then just hide all of your. I mean, if you are of that type of person that you don't mind if people see all of your recipes and things like that, then it doesn't matter if people see that stuff. But I just wanted to make one that I knew was curated. I didn't have to think about, should I pin this or should I not? So that's why I did that. But go for it.
What I didn't mention with the River Pools and Spas is that they went from almost being bankrupt, literally, I think they had 2 months to turn it around to being a multi-million-dollar company. And they're local. They're out of Maryland, I think. But anyway, it's a great success story using content marketing to build a business.
And you can see in the videos, it's just that guy. He's not doing anything particularly like fancy with his editing. It's just there talking and giving people information.
Yep.
Oh, geez.
Oh, geez. Oh, okay. Here we go.
Oh,
geez. All right. This is probably the most important thing. See, you can tell we have fun here. Do not try to do it all. It's so overwhelming to think of doing everything. So choose one thing that you want to do, whether it's maybe using Pinterest for the first time, creating some boards, or maybe doing some videos, some short videos, educational videos about the home buying process, or why you should use a home inspector, anything that a buyer or seller may want to know about. Really just pick and choose what you think you will stick with and do that first, but do not do all of it.
Yeah, choose 2 or 3 things that you're going to do well and play to your strengths. If you're not a strong writer or you don't really take a lot of pictures, take that into consideration. Don't try and force yourself to do all these things because other people are doing them. Pick 2 or 3 things, get really good at those, and be really consistent. And then you won't also drive yourself crazy trying to update 15 platforms a day because you have another job, which is selling real estate.
We will probably have another social media class. So be watching out for that. And it's, really just talking about the different platforms and what works for each one and stuff like that. So that is it for us. If you guys have any questions and you didn't get to ask them here, you can always email us or, or Facebook message us or whatever, wherever you want to talk to us. So
Yeah. Dorothy asked, please repeat how to get into CBX.
So Dorothy, if you have to download it for the iPad, it's only on the tablet. So search for Coldwell Banker CBX, and your login for CBX is the same as your login for CB Exchange.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And if you need any help, you just come see us.
Yeah.
We'll help you out with that.
Yeah. And that in terms of like, if you don't know what content you should post, where to find content, if something is appropriate or not going to be interesting enough, or you don't know if you should post it or not, you can always email us and ask.
Yeah.
And then, we'll be able to help you figure out what route you should take from there,
Yep.
things like that. So
awesome. Thank you guys so much.
Yay.
Bye.